Hey everybody, I'm Spencer and welcome to part 3 of dealing with change and uncertainty. In this series, we're really covering how to work with the challenges that are coming up right now in the world. As I record this, it's during the time of the coronavirus. Even post that, as I'm sure we'll get through this, challenges always come up on a global scale, but also and more often in our own individual lives. So I'm hoping that this series can help as you face challenges and uncertainty, and really times of high stress situations where it really calls on the best of you to come out and act in a way that is honorable and dignified and really calm. But when it's hard to be calm and there's a lot of uncertainty. So one of the things that might be more specific to this current situation is the change in work life and home life. One of the things that's kind of specific to this section that I want to share with you today is challenges to your identity. So a lot of times we get unknowingly, we connect our sense of self-worth, our sense of identity with what we do in the world. So, when you go to a party or a gathering, which you're not supposed to right now, but when you have in the past, so often when you're being introduced to somebody new, they will ask you, and you will ask them, what do you do? What do you do for work? And you will say, I am a, whatever it is. I am a carpenter. I am an accountant. I am a lawyer. I'm a painter. Whatever it is, right? And a lot of times we unknowingly can become identified with that. I think one of the most profound experiences that I have had in the past 5 years, or whatever, whenever it was, I can't remember now, but I had this, deep realization that I am not what I do in the world. And it was just shown to me, how much I had been identifying with my work in the world, and how that's not even me, and how all of that could actually fall away, and I could create something different. But that's like the real me is not that thing that I'm creating. That real me is not that work that I'm doing in the world. That's just a outward manifestation, a creation, a job, whatever that is. It's just a thing. So, this can be really difficult and almost impossible for some individuals to actually experience, because they're so wrapped up in their identity of what they do, so connected to their title, that when that goes away, that's an invitation to really look at, well, who am I really? So in these times when your identity is challenged and things are like flipped, and you're like, wow, I don't know who I am anymore, and this, all of a sudden your schedule is totally changed, your environment has totally changed. I think it's wise to be okay just taking a pause, taking a rest, and tapping into that space within you, really your true self that is unchanging and that is unaffected by the outward reality, or the outward perceived reality of things. Really, these changes are simply showing you what's not real, what's not you. And I think, again, my own belief here is that you have to take a moment of rest to really feel that, to really experience that. and not to put the pressure on yourself to maintain that same level of productivity when things have changed so quickly and so dramatically. So in every section in this series, I want to do some type of practice. And I think one of the most simple, practices that you can do is just sit in a breathing space of just breathing and being okay not doing anything for a moment. And find a phrase that you can say in your mind that might help you remember who you really are. So, your belief system might, teach you who you really are. And whatever that is for you, I don't know. But find something that is like really meaningful to you. And let it be really simple. Like, for example, I am loving awareness, or I am spirit, or I am is a really good one. Just I am. I am love. I am divine. Whatever feels comfortable for you. So let's go ahead and try that now. So get comfortable. And again, this is just to help you tap into your true self, your true identity that is really unchanging, that's not connected to anything outside of yourself, that's not connected to anything you've done. And this true self doesn't have to prove anything. Nothing. It just is. Some people call it that, the isness. Whatever works for you. So take a moment, sit down, get comfortable, take a breath in, breathe out slowly. And if you like the phrase, I am loving awareness, you can use that one. And just let yourself repeat that phrase on the in-breath and on out-breath. I am loving awareness. So I'll keep track of the time. So you can simply close your eyes. And allow yourself just to be in this space where you are loving awareness. Where you are love. Relax your body. Let go of your attachment to your titles. The work that you've done, the achievements. Just for this moment. It doesn't mean that those things that you've done, those titles that you've earned, it doesn't mean that they're not important or that they don't have value. But the invitation is to tap into a deeper sense of self. That if all those things were taken away, you would still have what? What is the essence of you? And it's very simple. I am. I am loving awareness. I am love. Let your mind slowly and gently repeat that phrase. Notice if your mind has commentary about that phrase. Notice if your mind is judging this practice or wandering off thinking about other things. Just bring your attention back to that phrase. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Notice how you can let everything else go. Just being here within yourself. What is it that is really you? When there's nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to fix or control. I am loving awareness. That's great. So you can go ahead and open your eyes. So I hear my 3-year-old coming, and she is like the perfect embodiment of loving awareness. You know, there's not a lot of conditioned mind. I mean, it's been developing, you know, but there's still a lot of innocence that she embodies. And she really, and I think this is one of the beautiful things to have young children around, from about, 1 to 2-ish to 3-ish, she's getting into that stage though, where it's a little crazy, but they really embody, these young children really embody this innocence. And I believe that when Christ talked about becoming as a little child, this is what he meant, was stepping back or remembering who you really are. This childlikeness is really this loving awareness, this spirit that is complete love, that doesn't have to prove anything to get love. So oftentimes in like middle age, we're so caught up in our career and working and trying to prove our worth, trying to prove that we have value in the world. And it's not that we don't do those things, but the invitation is not to get caught up in that, to not become identified with that. And I believe that right now in the state of the world, there's that invitation to tap into who we really are, because our outward circumstances have changed quite a bit. Now, as you look back in history, they've changed, there have been like serious changes, I feel like this is like a really minor thing for some. Some it might feel major. It really just depends on everyone's circumstance is different, right? But whatever it is for you, there's always an opportunity for whatever, difficulty that arises. There's always this invitation to step back into your true nature. And maybe step back in isn't the right phrase, but it's just to recognize it, to uncover the barriers and the beliefs that you have, that your title, your, whatever achievements, your job, your role, any role that you play outwardly in the world is just that outward role. And what happens when all of that goes away and you're with you, you're with your true self, your true identity? What is that? Can you get to know that? That's actually beyond the layers of self-judgment and self-hatred, because there's all of that too. A lot of people might feel uncomfortable being alone, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the next section. But can you step into this space of loving awareness that is underneath all of the judgments and thoughts you have, not only about the outer world that you've created, but also the inner world of judgments and shame and blame and self-doubt and self-hatred, the fears. Like, that's just another layer. It's not who you really are. So can you step even further back and recognize this space of loving awareness? So the invitation is keep practicing this meditation and use a phrase that is meaningful for you, like you personally, not that you have been taught by other people to say, like that you're supposed to say, or whatever, what society or institutions, want you to say about yourself, or like a coach or, whomever, religious leader. Really find something that's meaningful for you, that helps you tap into your true sense of self. And I like to keep it simple, just I am love. I am loving awareness. Something simple like that. And just keep practicing that, even if you don't believe it. Just keep practicing it. All right, thanks for joining me.